Hey everybody, welcome back to the next in my series on my paintball markers. Today we're going to take a look at my Sheridan PMI 1. The Sheridan PMI 1 is a Sheridan-based stock class paintball marker. So like any other stock class marker, it is fed by a horizontal stick feed and it is powered by 12 gram CO2 cartridges. In this case, the CO2 cartridges go in the lower tube right here, just like the PGP I showed you before. The PMI 1, size-wise, is intermediate between my Palmer's Pursuit Shop Super Stalker and my Sheridan PGP. The PGP is a small, pure pistol. The Super Stalker is a much larger marker. This is right in between in terms of the size. So the weight, the balance, it's all really nice. It's a little bit too big and heavy to use one-handed, but it's really, really nice as a two-handed marker. Like all Sheridans, these are a little bit tricky to use outside the box by modern standards. They're not super user-friendly markers, but with a few modifications, they can be made really, really, really nice. And I've actually done most of the modifications on this one myself to make it field ready. So starting from the top, we have a front-loading speed gate. You gotta use a speed gate on a Sheridan, otherwise you're using these twist removal feed plugs that are tricky to use, they're easy to lose on the field, and it takes extra time. With a speed gate like this, you just stick a tube in there and reload from the front, and loading it from the front rather than the back means that the paintballs always feed well into the chamber. We have slots, or in this case just holes in the feed tube to indicate how many paintballs you have left. I actually did these myself on a drill press, and my clamp only slipped for the fourth one, so the first three are in line. The fourth one's a little out of whack, but whatever. I'm the only one using this marker, and it still looks fine unless you look really closely. So we've got those, which tell me when I'm getting low on paint, and I should reload. Going down to the middle tube, which is the barrel and holds the bolt, we have three important features here. The first are wedgets, which are little indentations in the barrel. Those prevent rollouts, so that when you load a paintball into the chamber, it doesn't just roll straight down the barrel. This is important because these old brass markers have large diameter barrels, so you need some way to keep the paintballs from rolling out if you were to tilt the marker forward. Further back, we have a Speed Demon bolt, which is really important because you want to be able to remove the bolt without any tools, and the stock bolts on these actually require a hex wrench to be able to remove from the marker. A Speed Demon bolt doesn't have that problem, so it's much easier to clean the marker on the field if you need to. But the Speed Demon bolt only works if you couple it with a quick strip slot so that you can twist it and pull it out the back without having to mess with the bolt pin. So here you can see the quick strip slot. I cut that myself. That allows you to remove the bolt very quickly simply by twisting it if you need to. And then getting down into the lower tube of the marker, which houses the 12 gram chamber, the valve, the hammer, and the end cap, we have a quick change CO2 knob, so it only takes about a turn and a half to remove that knob entirely. So changing a CO2 cartridge is much faster than using the stock knob, which takes a number of turns. It really got to sit there and turn it in order to change that cartridge. With this, it's a much quicker process. Now, one thing I have not done is a Dropout 12 gram slot right here. But if you really want to have a quick CO2 change, you cut a Dropout slot in the lower tube, and then all you have to do is loosen that knob. The 12 gram can be switched, and then you tighten it back up again. So it's very quick and very easy with the Dropout slot. All the way at the other end of the lower tube, we have a rear velocity adjuster. Out of the box, these markers are not velocity adjustable. You have to clip or change the springs in order to adjust the velocity, but lots of different companies and people over the years have made rear velocity adjusters for these, so I have one in here, so I can adjust the spring tension with a wrench, and it's easy to adjust the velocity. And then finally, getting all the way down to the bottom, we have two features that are just for comfort. One is a trigger shoe, and the second are these very comfortable PMI rubber grips. These are very desirable, highly sought after grips. After battle grips, I think they are the most comfortable grips for a Sheridan style frame. So I'm really happy that I was able to find one of these markers with the PMI rubbers on them rather than the standard plastic Sheridan panels that, in addition to being not super comfortable, make for a much narrower grip that I don't find very ergonomic. So this is my Sheridan PMI 1 paintball marker. It's a brass stock class paintball marker, so it's pump. It's 12 gram powered, it's fed by a stick feed. These markers are a little bit tricky to use out of the box, but with some mods that a lot of people can actually do on their own, like slots for the feed tube, wedgets, and a quick strip slot, you can make these very user-friendly. Thank you for watching. See you next time.